Hi, come on in. So today I'm going to give you a tour of my flat. Now the reason why I decided to do this is because I've had quite a few requests and I didn't really think that it would be a worthwhile video. It's quite a small flat, but a lot of you asked, so I thought that I would do it today. So join me and I'll show you around. Watch my videos, you'll probably recognize this part of the room. I tend to always stand here because over here we have the windows and the light comes through. It's really nice light coming in here, so I always tend to stand here, and we've got the nice backdrop of this table and this painting. This is a painting by an English artist called Rupert Acre, and he is based in the Cotswolds. That is where I used to live when I lived in England. So I was at an exhibition and I saw his work and I really liked it, so I commissioned this painting. And it is of a village where I used to live called Brockley. Now if you've never been to the Cotswolds before, I would highly recommend that you visit, because it is probably one of the most beautiful places in the whole of the UK. It spans quite a large part of the middle of England, and it is just filled with beautiful houses, villages, natural beauty that I think you would really love. This table, I painted it myself. It was very inexpensive, and I use it for mostly holding books. So it's a place where I hold books, and sometimes I have flowers here. Now I've got this myrtle. But it's all really useful because you can take off all the books and you can use it as a dining table if you're having people over. Now I tend to eat in the kitchen most days, but this is very useful for that purpose. This plant here is called a myrtle, and I really love topiaries. This is where you train plants to be in the form of a tree like this. And I have to tell you that these are my favourite ones, but I'm really hopeless. They are impossible to keep alive. You have to give them a lot of TLC, which I do try to do, but somehow they always die. I've had about 15 of them in the last few years, and I've got 3 left, so I'm not doing very well. Maybe I've got a bit of a black thumb. A lot of people ask me about these frog candle holders. Now, even though they do look quite special and unique, they're actually just from TK Maxx. So I don't think you'll be able to find them anymore. I got them about a year ago, and I know that they do have one-off things there. So if you can find them, do try, but they're really not expensive or fancy. They cost me about £5. So the last time that I did a tour of this living room, I talked about this bureau and how I wanted to paint it, and I got about 10 million comments from people begging me not to do it. So even though I am a very strong-minded person, I have decided not to paint the cabinet, so you'll be very pleased about that. But actually, I think that you're all right. It looks much better in this natural wood without being painted, and sometimes you can have too much painted furniture and it can kind of look like a painted furniture store. So I'm glad that I listened to your advice and thought about it, and I'm keeping it brown. The reason why I chose this flat, it was probably one of the first flats that I came to see when I come to Edinburgh, and I instantly loved it. It's because of this room. It's a very small flat, but this room is quite big for the size of the flat, and I think that having a room like this is important if you live in a small space, because it's the place where you live, work and entertain. So I'm able to do all of those things in here with enough space to move around. Now I've kept it quite simple. The walls are a neutral colour. The colour is actually called white tie, and it's by Farrow & Ball. I do get asked that quite a lot too. But there are some things that I'm starting to think about changing now. So I've had these sofas and armchairs for probably the last 7 years. They're from John Lewis, and they've been really amazing. They're super comfortable and they wash really well. The condition is amazing, but they're starting to get a little bit tired now. The arms are wearing away here, so that's being covered up by this blanket. So I think I want to start to think about changing some of the pieces of furniture in here and going for something a bit more minimalist. The next thing that I would like to change about this room is this part of the room, because as you can see, it's very plain. I never really film or photograph this area because of that reason. And the simple thing is that I'm not in the position to afford to put anything on the walls at this moment. So I need a lot of artwork to fill this, but I can't just yet. So I need to really work hard and rack up those YouTube views to be able to pay to get some more art on the wall. Actually, just after Christmas, I did see a painting in a local gallery. I deliberated over it for about 3 weeks, and I'm glad that I didn't do it because I would be struggling to pay the bills. So this is going to have to stay plain for the time being, and it's my little minimalistic wall. So this is my desk where I work from, where I write my blogs, I edit my YouTube videos, I reply to emails, and I like it because I get to look out the window. I'm a nosy person, I like to see the world going by, I like to see faces when I'm here on my own, so this is a nice place for me to work. This room faces south, so it's always sunny, and it just makes you feel a bit more lifted when the sun is shining through and you've got a nice outlook. A lot of people ask me about this street when they see my videos in here and they see cars going by. Is it a very noisy street and doesn't that bother you? And actually no, because this is city living. This is how you are supposed to live in the city. I knew that when I moved here I would see cars going by, people going by, and if I wanted peace and quiet, I would live in the countryside. So I'm happy to see life, especially this year after lockdown when we've hardly been anywhere and we haven't seen anyone. To see people going by, to see life is a real nice thing to have. So that doesn't bother me at all, and I'd rather keep the windows open without curtains or shears to keep that view and to keep that life going past. So a really good trick if you're looking to get a big piece of furniture into your room but you're on a budget is to have a skirted table. This is something that is so easy to do. I'm not going to show you because it's embarrassing, but this is one of the most ugly tables you'll ever see underneath here, and you just cover it with a piece of fabric and you have a big gap filler in your room for very little money. This is a Colfax and Fowler fabric, which was quite expensive, but then I got it from the sale, so it was much more affordable, and also it's amazing because it hides a lot of storage, so you can use it as a storage space. There's lots of DIY tools under here. They're kept away out of view, and so that's my little guilty sin under there, is my little DIY storage space. This is a little sculpture of a flower, and you may have seen that I've talked about porcelain flowers by a Russian artist called Vladimir Kanevsky. Now he creates these amazingly unique, beautiful sculptures, but they are insanely expensive. Actually, it's probably my dream item to own. So about 2 years ago, I decided that I really needed to have something similar, so I managed to, with a friend of mine, find someone to make us our own little version. And I was actually going to start to sell them myself because a few people asked me, but it turned out to be not a very viable venture. So I've got this one, and it's a little bit wobbly in the pot now because it was secured with glue, and then one day I knocked it over. So it's got a few of the petals smashed, but it still looks really pretty here. So I hope that you have enjoyed looking at this room. It is a really comfortable space. What people say when they come here is that they feel relaxed and that they feel like they can just be themselves, and that is what I really wanted to achieve. When people come to my house, I would hate for them to feel on edge and nervous about touching anything. Everything is accessible in this house. You can put your feet on the sofa, the dogs are allowed to jump up, you can read the books that are around. So that is what I like to do to make people feel at ease. So I hope that you get the sense of that when you look around this room. Now let's go through to the kitchen, which is through this hallway. And I know a lot of people have wanted to see the kitchen. I have filmed in here every time I've cooked, but you only get to see one angle. So now I'm going to show you the rest of the kitchen, so follow me. So this is the hallway that runs through the flat, out of the living room. Behind you is the kitchen, and to my right is the bedroom. To my left is the bathroom, which I'm not going to be sharing today. There's nothing to see. It's just a shower with tiles all around it. Not beautiful, nothing to see. Well, I'm going to redecorate that room and then I'll share it with you, but you really don't need to see it today. So when I'm doing a hallway, I always like to think about the things that people do when they arrive at your home and when they leave at your home. So in terms of arrival, you want to create a space that is quite comfortable and sets the tone for the rest of the house. This is the first impression that people have of your home, so you want to make sure that it smells very nice, hence this. You also want to give kind of a view of who you are, so show some photographs of your life. That's why I've got these photographs. Then this console table is quite useful because it holds all of these things, but also it has a drawer so that you can store gloves, keys, letters, things like that. So it also, again, helps to have function and keep everything in its place. Now, what I realise when people leave your home is that they like to put on their coat, their hat, scarves, and they like to check their appearance before they go. So always have a mirror in a hallway. I would like to have something a little bit bigger than this, but this is all I've got for now, and the space is quite small, so this is what I can work with. So let's go through to the kitchen. So welcome to the kitchen, and I know that a lot of you are rejoicing because you thought that I was lying about having a kitchen. I used to be a bit weird about not showing this side of the kitchen, and the reason why is because I prefer the opposite side, which looks more like a room, and I just thought that because I like my videos to be visually pleasing, that side of the room was a lot prettier to see. This is more functional, but I still think it's quite sweet. I do like this kitchen. One of the things I really like about this kitchen is that it feels more like a country kitchen. So we're in the city and it really feels more like a country place. So it's comfortable and cozy, and it really makes the rest of the flat feel more homely. So that's what I really enjoy about this kitchen. I really feel that it's a room to relax in, so I like to cook here. I will eat my meals at the table, and it feels more like another living room rather than an industrial kitchen. So this is the part of the kitchen that you usually see on my videos. I stand here at the table and we've got the view here. And I really wanted this to feel, as I said, just more like a living room, more like a room that you can relax in. So I did that by using artwork on the walls. I've got lamps for nice, elegant lighting, and plants. Again, two of these myrtles, which I can tell you are about to die. Another one bites the dust, so they're going to be on the way out. But yes, I like this because it feels very cozy and comfortable, and I can relax in here. I will let you in on a little secret about this table. This is the table that you see me filming with when I'm doing my cooking and baking. Now this is a low table, as you can see, and when I'm cooking and baking it's always higher, and the way that I do that is I have to go through the very annoying task of putting books under every leg to raise a table. Now I have to have this table for filming so that I can put the camera over there and you'll be able to see what I'm doing, but it drives me crazy every time I have to do these videos and go through that whole process of getting all the books out, putting them under here. So I'm happy to let you know that tomorrow I'm having a proper kitchen island delivered so that I can be really professional and do my videos without the stress of having to get all of those books out. Guess that this part of the kitchen is the part that you never really see, and I don't like to show it because first things first, we have the fridge, which isn't very visually appealing. I wish that it was hidden behind a cupboard or something. If I owned the flat, that's what I would do. But I don't, so we have to live with seeing it like this. But what is quite nice is that I've got these useful shelves and I have all of my ingredients, pasta, rice, baking ingredients in these glass jars, which is so useful. You can just take them down when you need to get a recipe, put them onto the table, and it's really simple and easy. It makes life so much easier, and I think it looks quite pretty too. I've got everything labelled so that you can see what you have. Just makes life so much easier. And actually in my dream home I have got a plan to have a huge walk-in pantry that will be filled with these types of jars with all of the ingredients that you can imagine, and that is one of the things that I really want to have. Some people want a cinema room, but I would like a walk-in pantry. I hope that you have finally enjoyed seeing my kitchen. It's quite a big kitchen for the size of the flat. It's another room that I like to use, And I think that when you have a small flat, you need to try and maximize the space that you have. So try and make sure that you can live in the rooms that you have if you have a small place. So that's what I've tried to do with this kitchen. Even though it's quite functional and I can do everything I need to do with food and preparation, it's also a good place to relax. Sometimes I'll work from the table. When friends come over, we'll have tea there. So it is a functional but cozy room that can be used for many different purposes. And back through to the hall, we're going to go into the bedroom. Come through. So this is the bedroom. You will recognize it from my bedroom makeover video. If you haven't seen that video, I would recommend that you do, because you can see how I transformed this room on a very, very small budget and just what you can do with a little bit of imagination. When I moved into this flat, this was a very bright blue bedroom. It kind of looked like a little boy's bedroom, and I hated it instantly, but there were many things that I had to deal with before I could deal with that. So I didn't do anything with it for about a year. I decided to take my time and think about the kind of room that I really wanted to have, and then I set about doing it, which was about 2 months ago. And I can say, after spending time in here and living in this room, everything that I've done I'm so pleased with, because it's very relaxing, very comfortable, and it's just elevated my life in this flat. Now, I'm not sure whether you can tell, but this is actually a pink colour on the walls, and I chose it because it's a very warm pink that isn't too sugary, and it actually makes the room look really beautiful in all different kinds of light. When it's beautifully sunny outside, it's a lovely colour, but also in the night time when you just have the lamps, it's also very soothing and relaxing. So it's not a very feminine colour, which you would expect from a pink. It actually works well for masculine rooms too. So if you are a man who's considering having a pink room, I hope that you will now see that you can do it also. This is called a half tester, the metal part of the bed. And I got that from ochre.com about 3 years ago. I don't think they sell it anymore, but if you just search for half tester bracket, you might be able to find something similar. Now what I did, I had the curtains in this room at the window and here were in the living room, and just after Christmas, when I was taking down all of the decorations and I wanted to have a fresh start, I decided to take down the curtains because they felt heavy. They didn't really reach the floor, so I wanted to get rid of them, and I thought that instead of storing them away, I would repurpose them in this room. And I think that this fabric, even though it's very plain, it goes really well with the walls. It's very soothing, so it works quite nicely in this room, and you get to use the curtains again rather than being stored away. Also, because this is a small flat and I don't really have a lot of storage, I really could do without having to put them away, so using them again has been very useful. Again, talking about storage, I am somebody who likes to have a place for everything. I think if you live in a home where things don't have a place to live, it becomes very chaotic and you will not enjoy living there. And in the past, I've lived in places where I didn't have adequate storage, and it really made me miserable in the end. So when I moved into this flat, I got these wardrobes from IKEA. Even though they're not fitted, they do kind of look fitted, which is why I like them. It's quite seamless having this white going across the room. I think it looks elegant, and it's just a nice way for me to store all of my clothes. Everything can be hung, everything's on a hanger. Trousers, jumpers, t-shirts, I have everything on a hanger. I don't like to fold anything, it drives me crazy. So everything's got a nice place to live behind these doors. I'm not going to show you inside because it's not very organised right now, but maybe that will be another video. I think a lot of people have been asking if I can share how I choose pieces to wear clothing, so I am planning to do a style video soon, so I will show you inside the wardrobes then. For me, one of the most important things about your bedroom is the bed, and I like to have a really beautifully comfortable bed. I like my cushions and pillows to be squashy and super comfortable. So I really do think about how to make the best comfortable bed that you can have. And I do that with just having lots of layers of pillows, lovely blankets, duvets. I've got a nice mattress. It's also got a topper on top, a feather topper. I like to be quite high in the bed, so that is how I keep it very cozy. Also, I've got this lovely little quilt, and this is from a designer called Elizabeth Scarlett. This is just pineapples. I really love the things that she does. She also does beautiful, cute stuff like this eye mask, which I don't really wear, but it looks nice at the side of the bed. So yeah, check Elizabeth Scarlett out. She does some beautiful things. These pictures that you see either side of the bed, which are just botanical prints, I got them from a book. I do that quite regularly. I get pictures out of books and I frame them. It is a really simple and effective way when you're on a budget to get art. Like I was saying about the living room, I'm not in the position to buy expensive artwork, so I have to use my brain and try and find ways to fill the walls. So that is how I did that with those. So I would highly recommend that if you're looking to fill up the walls of your home and you don't really have a huge budget, get some nice books, look through them, take them out, and then get them framed. Well, thank you for joining me in my home. I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing around the place and finally getting to see more of the rooms and more of the places where I live. I will see you next week on Wednesday for tea time treats, but until then, have a really great weekend and a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.